Hi, for this video, I will be going to answer the questions or to give some insights related to the topic that were given to us regarding the reading materials posted. The Philippines a century hence, the indolence of the Filipinos, and the letter of Rizal to the women of Malolos. This is Mary J. Pabillaran, and let me start with the first question. The Philippines a Century Hence is an essay written to forecast the future of the country within 100 years by Jose Rizal. Rizal made the following predictions. 1. The Philippines will one day declare herself independent. 2. The great American Republic with interests in the Pacific may one day think of acquiring possessions beyond the seas. 3. The Philippines will defend with indescribable ardor the liberty she bought at the cost of so much blood and sacrifice. 4. Japan will swallow us. 5. Once liberated, the Philippines will perhaps establish a federal republic. 6. The Philippines will perhaps enter openly the wide road of progress and will work jointly to strengthen the mother country at home as well as abroad. With the exemption of 2, all of his forecasts had come true. Malacanang is now pushing federalism aggressively, while Congress, as a constituent assembly, is set to do as well. In 1898, the Americans defeated Spain in a battle for control of the Philippines. By 1899 to 1900s, 2 proposals for a federal form of government appeared to have been made to the quickly ascending Americans, but both were rejected. Filipinos were victimized by the Japanese, who were especially cruel to the women and children. In the 5 decades following Rizal's death, the Philippines gained their long-awaited freedom. Second, Rizal composed this essay to remind Spain that the events that led to the French Revolution could have an impact on her in the Philippines. He emphasizes the importance of forging a new kind of political relationship between Spain and the Philippines, if the former does not want the latter to break up completely. The article is more than a warning. It is a sensible appeal of a devoted son who truly hopes to avoid a bloody separation between Spain and the Philippines. It is a social-political essay and is significant in our country today. It enlightened us, especially the youth, because it is important to follow the values that Jose Rizal have, to recommit ourselves on nationalism and patriotism, and to always fight for our freedom. This essay reminds us to study and learn from his writings, for this will give a great help to our country. Third question. The indolence of the Filipinos is a study of the reasons why during the Spanish government the people did not, as was said, work hard. Rizal stated that the Filipinos were industrious and hardworking even before the arrival of the Spaniards. Rizal agreed that there is indolence among Filipinos during the Spanish colonization, but he believes it is due to a number of circumstances. First, the establishment of the galleon trade cut off all previous associations of the Philippines with other countries in Asia and the Middle East. Because of this, the small businesses and handicraft industries that flourished during the pre-Spanish period gradually disappeared. Second, Spain also extinguished the natives' love of work because of the implementation of forced labor. Because of this, the Filipinos were compelled to work in shipyards, roads, and other public works, abandoning agriculture, industry, and commerce. Third, Spain did not protect the people against foreign invaders and pirates. As a result of this, the Filipinos were forced to become nomads, lost interest in cultivating their lands that were shut down. Fourth, there was a crooked system of education, if it was to be considered an education. The only thing taught in schools was prayers. Fifth, the Spanish Rulers were a bad example to despise manual labor. Sixth, gambling was established and widely propagated during those times. Seventh, there was a crooked system of religion, and so they preferred not to work and remain poor so that they could easily enter heaven after they died. Lastly, the taxes were extremely high, so much so that a huge portion of what they earned went to the government or to the friars. Rizal confessed that the Filipinos did not labor as hard as they should have since they had learned to adapt to the warm tropical climate, and also because of the reasons stated earlier. Fourth, Rizal wrote a letter to the young women of Malolos to express his admiration for their bravery during the war. He expresses immense excitement and satisfaction over the battle they had fought in his message. In this section of Rizal's letter, it is clear that his ultimate goal was for women to have the same educational opportunities as men. Rizal's letter to the Malolos women emphasized reason and advocated for women's education in order to become enlightened. Religiousness required reason. Without reason, only religiosity existed. In his letter, Rizal maintained that women's worth was determined by their contributions to the Filipino identity, emphasizing how motherhood mirrored motherland. And to our fifth question, to the women of Malolos, centered around 5 salient points. First, Filipino mothers should teach their children love of God, country, and fellow men. Second, Filipino mothers should be glad and honored, like Spartan mothers, to offer their sons in defense of their country. Third, Filipino women should know how to protect their dignity and honor. Fourth, Filipino women should educate themselves aside from retaining their good racial values. Fifth, faith is not merely reciting prayers and wearing religious pictures. It is living the real Christian way with good morals and manners. These pieces of advice from him were still applicable today, but not all of them. These attributes appear to be eroding in the way Filipino women behave themselves in recent years. Because of the prevailing attitude of having to earn for the family to augment their husband's income, moms frequently overlook their roles in rearing their children. But although there is nothing wrong with that, there must always be a balance in everything. So that would be all. Thank you.